One More Round, the Young Professionals Podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Create, distribute, and monetize your podcast with Anchor. Anchor believes everyone's stories can and should be heard. Around the world, creators are using Anchor's powerful platform. For everyone, everywhere, for free. Anchor. I'm Chris Vion. My co-host is Matt Kelly. Welcome to One More Round, the Young Professionals Podcast. Episode 3, to you, the valued listener. Thank you for searching for us and making us a part of your day.
Jackie Botelho, founder and CEO of ABCVIP. Jackie has always been a highly energetic, passionate, and self-motivated person. Starting more than a decade ago in sales, she rose up the ranks by combining her affable personality along with driving long-term relationships by consistent communication and delivering results for her clients. She found her why starting ABCVIP, where her upbeat attitude is not only infectious to her team, but to all her customers and clients. As you will hear, Jackie's story is one of persistence, resilience, and great customer service that consistently allows her to get up and go one more round. What really motivated you to leave the security of the corporate world and, take a chance on yourself to start ABCVIP?
Great question. I get this asked all the time, and I wish that there was more to the story, but really this woman asked me one day what you would do if money wasn't an issue. And she's even said, she's like, I'm sure you asked yourself this question a million times, but I didn't. And, immediately I was like, oh, I would love to do what I did in San Diego. And that's the day that I started my LLC, and really the day that I found my purpose. And I felt it in my whole body. And I was still working a full-time job for about 8 months while I started the company. But yeah, you just feel it, it's something it's undeniable. And that's what made me make the jump.
I'm curious. So how long, when you got that why moment in San Diego, how long did it take you to kind of get the ABC off the ground from that moment?
Well, I absolutely bootstrapped this company from my savings, and I built it off YouTube videos and Google. So I didn't really know what I was doing really, but I just kept on researching. And so I would wake up every morning, probably 4 a.m. I always wake up at 4 a.m. I just love the early mornings. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. every day. I would, try to figure this out as much as I could. Then I work my full, 12-hour day from my corporate job. And I did that for about 8 months until finally I was just ready to go all in.
Talk about that build, that vision that you had with this. And was there ever a time throughout the building process that you had feelings of, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? What was your mindset going forward as far as eliminating distractions and keeping that tunnel vision straightforward?
Okay, I have to laugh when you say that, because that thought goes through your head regularly. You're like, is this going to work? And of course you wake up every day and you give it 100%. And you're like, yes, it's working. It's working. It's such a struggle sometimes. And, it's really about how you pick yourself back up and how you, really define your wins. And I always say the struggles are real, but so are the wins. And, you have to keep going and just keep that in your head. But there are days where you are second guessing yourself like crazy. And you're like, what am I doing? I'm so talented. I could get a job anywhere. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I have a lot of entrepreneur friends, and we always joke around. We're we did this to ourselves, but it's really hard and it's really tough, and it's such a roller coaster of emotions. But that feeling that you get when you get one of those insane wins and you built this all by yourself is worth every single second of it.
Great answer.
And when your friends are like, oh no, I know we're in our busy season at work, I know what you feel like. I'm like, oh, you have no idea what I feel like. I mean, it's obviously all paid off now, which is amazing. And I knew that it would. I was never worried about it. But while you're watching your, paying New York City rent and your money's just coming out of your account and not that much is coming in, because the first year I really didn't make very much at all. Until we started hosting events, we didn't really make that much, which was not great. So that was the scariest part.
Interesting, because you mentioned you had a group of people that were doing the same exact thing as you. So did you rally around that group together to go off and build your own separate visions and ideas?
No, no. So we're just friends. Like, we've just like met each other over the years, and like it's rare when you find somebody who has started a company that didn't have any partners, they didn't have any investing, you know, they had no investors or anything like that. You know, they really like just pulled it up from the ground. So I've been lucky enough to meet about 6 other women that have been in the same position, all in completely different industries. But and then a couple of other men who are, you know, the same as me. They just have really kind of just like had a gut feeling and gone after it and just didn't take no for an answer until it was successful, and keep going every day. And we've really become each other's kind of support. And some days when I'm about to scream, I can call them and they're like, don't forget this and don't forget that. And it's been a really great support system. I don't know what I would do without them, honestly.
Have you ever come across someone throughout your process looking to do the same exact thing, had the same vision, and you offered support to them as far as talking about your experience and keep going, keep driving?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've never met anybody else who wants to do what I'm doing in the space that I'm doing, like in my industry. But the level that I'm at and like kind of starting the company from nothing, I've come in contact with a ton of people. I feel like I've really mentored a lot of them through some really tough times. And, you know, they're always like, one of them said to me a couple of weeks ago, she was like, how are you always so sure that it's going to work? And I'm like, I'm not, but like, I know that I'm a survivor. I know that I don't know how it's going to work, but I know it's going to work. And I think that one comment right there led her to make a really great, powerful decision in her career. And, you know, she called me afterwards and she's like, you know, because of you, like, I'm really doing this. And I don't know, I try to help as many people as I can, because honestly, it's more powerful for me to be able to help others get through these like tough little times, because it's a real freaking roller coaster of emotions.
No, it really is. I actually have to piggyback, and you said something so interesting that I find a common denominator with anybody that's successful, entrepreneurs, even you go to you know, Elon Musk or Tim Cooks of the world. Waking up early is one of the things I found when I interview successful people. They all have, especially with younger people. If you're willing to get up before anybody else, whether that's preparation, working out, you name it. I think you really touched on something without even knowing it that really could help younger people. There really is, there's success before 6 a.m. If you can outwork anybody, I think it's just having that consistent, relentless persistence in yourself. I think all entrepreneurs have it. And I've known you obviously for years. I remember when you were, account manager back in the day, and kind of see where you've come. It's amazing. I told Chris before this, I said, you know, she was always so energetic and passionate, but I never thought, you know, she'd be leading this highly successful company in New York City. It's just amazing. And listening to you, I can see why, because you're just so energetic and driven. And that kind of leads me to my next question. Were you always so passionate and energetic? I mean, it comes through in your videos, or was that kind of something you learned along the way?
Great question. So I feel like I've always been very energetic and passionate, but not necessarily about anything that's like work related. I mean, like, right. You know, I've always obviously believed in what I've sold until, you know, something may have happened, or maybe I didn't believe in the company or whatever. And I moved on to a better opportunity. I think that the reason that, you know, my energy and my passion for this has been so infectious is because people can really feel that I've like found my niche in life. Like I don't even know how to like count how many times people are like, man, you are perfect for what you do. Or, you know, I'm doing these corporate events and I'm making all these people, I'm easing their minds and making them feel so comfortable. And, you know, with the hotels, like training the staff and making sure that everybody's having these great experiences. Like that is like, this is like what I was put on this earth to do. So I think that that's really like what comes across. And that's why people are so into it. I think I have always been energetic, but I've never been so passionate about what I do ever, not even close. And I think that that's what's been really kind of like eye-opening to people and helped me really get from the bottom to where I am right now.
How do you keep it? Here's the one thing I'm always curious about, right? Some people can do it 2 days a week, 3 days a week on the weekends. How do you keep your consistency? I mean, do you have like a routine you go through every day? What's your day-to-day like to get kind of to stay consistent in what you do?
Yeah, so I am like not good at this question at all. Like I have zero. I have like no repetition. Like I've got, I kind of almost like am jealous of sometimes of the people who like wake up every day at a certain time and they go to sleep and they have this like regimen. Like the only consistency I have is the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I make my bed and I brush my teeth. Other than that, it's like totally up for grabs. What I do is like, I never set an alarm. I always just wake up when I wake up, and I always wake up at 4 on the dot, which is just weird. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, sometimes I'll wake up at 3 and I'll like, just like, all right, I guess we're going to start working from 3 today. But I've really been getting much better at listening to my body. And like when I need to stretch or when I need to walk my dog, like I have to do that because it gets really intense because you're like blah, 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 all day long.
I'm curious, reading your website and everything. I'm curious. You've partnered with the likes of, Marriott, the Empire State Building. I even saw the New York Yankees recently. What's your secret in building those long-term relationships with clients?
I think just our buying power. I mean, we do, now we're the concierge for 11 hotels, upwards of 7,000 rooms in Manhattan. We just got our first Hilton property. Yay.
Wow.
And thank you. So now like we've got Marriott and Hilton, which is just incredible. Like they signed contracts that I made on my computer. It's like so surreal, honestly. But I would say that I think it's really just the relationships that we built and how we genuinely want to help our partners. That's why we've been able and so fortunate to get so many.
In the world of business and relationship building, networking is key, right? Building those relationships. How has that skill set for you, how has it changed from pre-COVID to now during COVID? And what are some of those best practices that you can recommend?
I mean, it depends on, you have to listen to your body. And when you're doing too much, you have to know that you're doing too much. But I would say one really important thing is like anytime it's like a free networking opportunity and you have the time, you do it. You meet as many people as you possibly can. You spread the word about who you are and what you're doing as much as you possibly can. And I mean, some people would argue like it's, quality over quantity. And, I preach quality over quantity with everything that I do, except for when it comes to networking. With networking, you should know as many people as you possibly can. You should take really good notes on who they are, what industry they're in. If, I've created a database where if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I need an accountant for, my tech firm, I can literally go into my spreadsheet and look up, like I can type in tech and accounting and people will come up. Like you should take really good notes on who these people are, and you should always be kind of like a resource for people, and they'll come to you. And the more people that are coming to you, the more they trust you, the more they're telling their friends. And that's how you create really strong relationships. And networking is literally is the key to that.
My last question for you was, I thought about this one. So if you could give the young millennials a blueprint, on chasing their real passion in life, what would you tell them to do to achieve that goal?
I mean, you just got to follow your gut. Like there's something that you're good at. There's something that like you're really, really passionate about, and you have to figure that out and you have to go with it. I don't care if it's like knitting, pot holders or whatever it is, like just do it and own it. And even if it's a side thing, it's so therapeutic to do something that you love, that you're good at, and that makes you feel good. And you just have to go for it. And it's scary, but it's so amazing. It's not even funny. It's just the feelings that you get. So, so my plug is if anybody ever needs any advice or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to us. Our social media is ABCVIP NYC, and that's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then our website is www.theabcvip.com. Just thank you again for this opportunity, and can't wait to see what we're doing this time next year.
And we want to thank you, the valuable listener, for making us a part of your day. For you to carve out some time for us is truly a privilege. One more round, the Young Professionals Podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Create, distribute, and monetize your podcast with Anchor today for free. We're all going to get knocked down in life. Just make sure you get up and get back in the fight. Until next time, folks, keep punching.